oh, school sucks. No, fuck off.
Hello and welcome to Noisey Talks. I'm Alex Miller, and this week I'll be discussing the music news with Fred from Spectre, Lucy from The Telegraph, and John from The Quietus. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hey.
Hello again.
One thing which people have been talking about a lot recently has been, I guess, a new British invasion of the States. Obviously, Adele's been doing very well, Mumford & Sons been doing very well, Coldplay always seem to do quite well, and now you've got One Direction who've had like a #1 record in the States. Like, I was genuinely surprised when I found out about that. Lucy, were you surprised?
Not really. I have a theory about all these kind of new boring artists who are doing really well over there, like Mumford & Sons and Adele. I think people forget how enormously popular country music is over there, and I think the kind of new boring stuff that we're giving out is basically our version of country. It all kind of sounds a bit like average Christian rock, you know, which those guys love.
I've always kind of suspected that Coldplay are a Christian rock band.
Yeah, but One Direction, they're new, but no one could describe them as being boring, only someone with no ears. What Makes You Beautiful is a massive tune, and they deservedly smashed the charts in America, having the first ever debut #1 album for a UK act ever. They've beaten the Beatles. So arguably this British invasion is more important than the Beatles. And even Paul McCartney this week said, let's not compare One Direction to the Beatles, but let's just call them the next terrific band. And I'm sure that's something that we can agree on. In a country that revolves around the gravitational pull of Justin Bieber, what better idea than bringing 5 Justin Biebers in one band? With Harry Styles, we're building up to having one of the great frontmen of our time, which is exciting again.
I totally disagree. I think it's so depressing.
They're for the prepubescent ladies in the GAY community.
We don't need to worry about this. I mean, like, you know, at the end of the day, what happens in America, that's their problem. It's got nothing to do with me. What I find interesting is why stuff becomes big in America. I know how UK bands become famous in America.
You've worked it out.
I have worked it out, and it's basically you have to fulfill a stereotype of what all Americans think we're like. You have to be one or more of the following things.
I might need to get a pen.
An evil, untrustworthy, either homosexual or asexual pervert who lives in either a castle or on a farm. Iron Maiden, evil, live in a castle. Led Zeppelin, evil, live on a farm. Mumford & Sons, just live on a farm. One Direction, asexual.
Do you think that the success of One Direction, actually all that stands for is proof of Simon Cowell's increased significance in the States?
Yeah, I think sadly that's true.
It's definitely an increased significance, but one that's born of, I think, one of the most creative and forward-thinking minds in popular music ever.
Simon Cowell?
Yeah.
You think bringing back the talent show, is that forward thinking?
Forward thinking, not in terms of artistically fulfilling.
Forward thinking like Hitler, you mean?
Forward thinking in terms of moving
Forward
forward.
planning.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's
Conquer.
formulaic.
So, yeah,
There's no like
but
flexibility.
he just understands what will work. It's not to say everyone's going to think it's good or clever or fulfills anything other than, you know, ticking boxes, bums on seats, sales. I mean, I've described him as the Andy Warhol of our generation before. And I think
Did he get shouted down and roundly mocked?
You know, many people agreed. He's someone who understands pop culture to such a shrewd degree. He can almost just dip his toe into it. That represents Simon Cowell's toe. Like watching a few movies or having a drink, he can just control and completely sway the tastes of millions.
I don't think he's a genius. You think he's a genius?
Not at all. I mean, he exists to kind of dilute popular culture into a sea of vanilla ice cream.
When you get to my age, there are very, very few kind of like safe pleasures in life, but one of them is laughing at American people. I can't even do that at the moment because of the state of the music we're sending over there. If there are any indie bands watching this, you know, you need to get rid of that ironic Garfield t-shirt. You need to burn the plaid shirt. You know, Americans want you to be gay, evil, live on a farm, or live in a castle. If I was going to boil down the history of very big modern popular music from the last 50 years, Rolling Stones on our side of the pond, David Bowie, Led Zeppelin, Depeche Mode, The Cure on our side of the pond, and Limp Bizkit on their side of the pond.
I've just got pop culture.
Okay, so I guess the big music news that kind of broke out this morning was 2 relatively high-profile collaborations. On one hand, you had Florence Without the Machine and Josh Homme, and on the other hand, you had A$AP Rocky and Lana Del Rey doing a song. Did you hear them, John?
Yeah, the Florence and Josh one is just awful. Ginger Elvis, stop messing about and go and make a Queens of the Stone Age record, you know.
The problem with collaborations in this climate is that famous people think that as long as they're famous and they get together with someone else famous, something great is bound to happen. Another ego meets another ego in a miasma of high-fiving and self-congratulation and Twitter photos. You can often stand in the way of true quality. I think it seems like everyone in the Lana Del Rey camp is always worrying about something, and maybe they should just chill out and say, look, we sold fuckloads of records, let's go out and spend some cash and have a good time. Isn't that what it's all about?
I think you're right. I think she should go out rollerblading and fucking relax.
Yeah. I like the story that she was going out with Marilyn Manson. That seemed like a fun idea.
Have you seen what he looks like now? He looks worse than I do. He looks like he's fallen asleep for 3 days on a really hot radiator and part of his face is caved in, you know.
So, thank you very much, Fred. Thank you, Lucy. And thank you, John, especially for explaining popular culture to us. Next time on Noisey Talks, I'll be joined by Busta Rhymes, Leanne Rhymes, and the Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. Cheers.